My name is Vito Park. I'm an artist, instrument maker, and this is my solo exhibition, The Land of Morning Calm, at the Trinity Square video. My practice is focused in forging sonic and visual media into energy that reveals hidden structures of conflict, authority, and polarization shaping today's world. My classical training in music shaped my early understanding of sound as harmony and control, but over time, this evolved into deeper understanding of sound as a system of tension, feedback, and embodiment. This shift now informs my entire practice, from sonifying political text to approaching visual abstraction as like a score of seismic silence, rupture, and recursive conflict. All of these influenced me to extend to an interdisciplinary approach in looking at the division, fractures, and polarity that's deeply embedded in our war, ideology, and identity. The land of morning calm is a term first introduced by American traveler and writer W.E. Griffiths in 1882. It's a translation of the word Chosun, named for the dynastic kingdom of Korea. However, this is a misinterpretation because Chosun originally means fresh morning, but sun from Chosun having different meanings despite having identical pronunciation probably inspired Griffiths to come up with this poetic rendition of the land of morning calm instead of land of fresh morning. And I thought this title is fitting to this exhibition because it has a direct reference to Korean history, yet most people wouldn't even notice that. And also has this weird paradox of projecting calm in the morning, which means later in the day, it isn't calm by contrast. So this exhibition, titled The Land of Morning Calm, presents a collection of work that confronts the deep fractures of conflict and division that is deeply embedded in South Korean political landscape through transforming sound and image as agents of physical impact. Each work transforms these geopolitical tensions into visceral tactile experiences that transforms viewers' body into sensorial sight of resonance, tension, and recognition. Seismic silence consists of two sound sculptures that are made based on historic landmines that are presenting in the gallery a feedback loop of their original signatures for detection that are now being played back as vibration. For me, this represents the paradox of peace veiled in the perpetual tension of DMZ, the demilitarized zone, which was established as a neutral buffer, yet remains as one of the most heavily fortified landscape on Earth. And for me, DMZ is such a paradoxical and ironic space given the millions of landmines that's buried beneath it and soldiers who are standing in ceaseless vigilance and guarding silence that is anything but demilitarized. So the seismic silence is transforming this DMZ's reverberation of history into sonic assault. It's transforming sound not only as a weapon of war, but also as this active force that unearths, reanimates the echoes of war that refuses to fade. The Land of Morning Calm consists of two sound sculptures based on MRI scan model of my vocal tract that is installed within two lecterns that are sonically recontextualizing the ongoing clashes within Korean National Assembly. This piece transforms the political disputes into visceral soundscape, which captures how ideological conflict spills beyond parliament and is infiltrating into our very own lives. Each vocal track is printed in red and blue, representing the conservative and progressive party, and these vocal track models are projecting screaming noises that are sourced from the sonification of text and documentation of the constitution, regulation, and ethical codes of each conservative and progressive party that existed since 1948. The year when South Korean government was first established. So this historically accumulated cacophony of political turmoil that is being projected through my body as own medium. It's fragmenting it and synthetically reproducing my body parts, and also kind of critiquing about the constructed nature of the political speech itself, and also foregrounding my personal entanglement within this national discourse. These two paintings depict the elusive landscapes of DMZ and Freedom Village. These paintings are based on the archival photographs sourced from the National Archive of Korea, and these are presenting in the gallery this chromatic tension of the bodily intimacy of militarization, particularly in South Korea for Korean males, where mandatory military service is woven into our daily life, memory, and geography. For me, this represents how state owns our body. So if you look at the painting, there's this clashing contrast between pink flesh tone paints and national color of defense. So national color of defense is official term for this different shades of color used for making a national military uniform in South Korea. So this clashing, contrasting composition is reflecting on how this military service is inscribed into our very life. This military green landscape is, for me, functioning like a clothing on top of this flesh background, which kind of reflects on how skin camouflage relationship for me, and also for all these Korean males who have to face this reality of serving in military, is not something that has hierarchy between them. It's like the body-nation relationship, which in our context is fused with contradiction. What I wanted with this exhibition was for viewers to kind of experience this tactile confrontation with war, ideology, and history as sort of like a recursive feedback system. I wanted to transform viewers' body into sort of like a sensory receiver within the sites of resonance, tension, and recognition. And what I wanted to convey through this exhibition was to think about these political conflicts, societal problems, and even war as sort of like a feedback system. The relationship between different political parties with the national level, but also looking at this binational relationship between South and North Korea, it's also like a feedback loop. For example, as soon as one comes down, the other comes down. As soon as one escalates, the other escalates too. So feedback in the context of this exhibition, it functions as a concept that unifies both the method of production, composition, but it's also a universal theme that is working between this different body of work. Think about like cybernetics, computational artilleries, network, communication. These are all things that's currently happening within Asian theater of war, particularly the proxy war that echoes in history, and that's something that still exists even at this very moment. That's what I wanted to kind of convey viscerally through this tactile experience for viewers to experience both sound and image, and also to contemplate about this complicated relationship that has been formed by the atrocity and violent act of humanity for millennia.